see if this goes live this time. Keep trying, and it is showing that I'm live, but it's not showing any humans. So let's see. I am messaging with corporate right now. If you can see this, go ahead and comment in the thread. I do see a comment thing now, so I have slight hope. But go ahead and up. We may be up. If you can see me, drop some comments, tag your coaches, let us know that this is working. I see eyes. Yay! Okay. Third time's a charm. 3 was always my lucky number. Yay! Okay. Hey guys, give you a second to hop on. My notes have turned off in all of my moments here. So I am glad we are here to work together, and that it is not just me. I even was like, well, maybe they can see me and I'll start, but you couldn't. So yay. Thank you to my team who has been messaging me on the side that you were not able to see me. So we'll give everybody a second to jump on. Go ahead and tag some coaches that maybe were looking for the live video and could not find it because it did not exist. Or you can go ahead and comment and tag your upline, because it's always good to let them see that you're taking action in your business. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and get started because we are starting late now. So, hey guys, my name is Jenna Yee, and I'm coming to you from Austin, Texas. I grew up in New York and lived there all through college and everything down on Long Island. But I've lived in Austin for 13 years now, so I'm from Texas, I guess now. But I'm really, really excited to be here with you. I am an online middle school band director, and that is interesting. So any teachers out there that are trying to navigate online teaching, Godspeed. I am one of 3 teachers, and we have 400 students between the 3 of us, just in band, not in our school, 400 band kids. So this has been an adventure to say the least. But I obviously do that. My husband is a high school band director, so we are a 2-teacher house and a 2 very busy teacher house. We have 2 kids who are 7 and 5, so I am also an online first grade homeschool teacher. Just all of the things. But like I said, I've been a coach for 3.5 years. I signed up initially to cover the cost of Shakeology because, like I said, we're a 2-teacher income. So, you know, I loved Shakeology, and actually I wanted to go to Summit initially, was why I signed up. So I saw my neighbor go to Summit, and I was like, ooh, that looks fun. And then I wanted to cover the cost of my Shakeology, so I signed up to be a coach. And because I wanted to cover my costs, I did start hitting Success Club, but I didn't really understand the business. And I will say that, like, my first big aha moment was at that initial summit. And it does, like, of course, we already know that that's not going to happen this year. But regardless of that live event, like, we are so lucky because what we do has not really changed. Like, yes, there are some things, you know, like Summit and stuff that we're not going to be able to participate in. But what we do as coaches, we are doing the exact same thing that we always do. We are working from home. We are doing our workouts at home. Like, we get the opportunity to share what we already do, and it hasn't been changed, really. We've just lost some of that cool stuff. But one of those big aha first moments that I had, and it was like a year into my business, was that normal people were successful at this. You know, I would see, you know, these top coaches and be like, oh my gosh, and like put them on this big pedestal, and not realizing that, like, wait, there were people that are just like normal that can make this happen too. And so that was a really, really big aha moment. And then my 3rd summit this past year was when I had a second aha. Like, I mean, I've had a lot of aha moments, but that was another one where I realized that I was doing some of the things, but I was not doing all of the things. And just because I was experienced as a coach didn't mean that, like, I had this all figured out necessarily. And I know you guys hear this stuff all the time, but this thing is an absolute game changer. So I did not use the Success Club tracker, and this is just like moment of real for you. I did not start using it until after Summit last year because I had been coaching for 3 years and I thought I was doing all of these things. I saw the things on here and I was like, oh, I do all of that. I don't need to track it. But at Summit, I was like, well, I'm going to start doing it to help hold my team more accountable. So I was going to start tracking, except as soon as I started doing it, I quickly realized that the things I thought I was doing, I was not, because I just was like keeping a mental check. So a couple of things on the Success Club tracker. First of all, if you think that this is like overwhelming to look at, I hope that I'm going to be able to help you break this down a little bit better so that you can take it in more like, acceptable chunks. But even if you're an experienced coach and you're not using this, I really encourage you to do it, because it's going to show you the things that you think you're doing that you're not doing. And for me, it was like a major moment for me. Now there are a lot of things on here that can be broken down and kind of bundled together, so like you knock a whole bunch of them out at once. Typically during the school year, I am not sitting down for a power hour and doing the work in chunks also. But keep in mind that there are things on the tracker that are not going to happen during your power hour, whether that happens in a power hour or whether it happens in pockets. So like your workout, your Shakeology, your content creation, whether that be for your challenge groups or like your posts and stuff, like that's not really part of your power hour, because those are not the business building activities that are moving your business forward. So the stuff that we do today is going to be the stuff that we are going to do that's going to move your business ahead. Now the goal when you are making posts, or at least how I like to think about this, is the goal when you're writing posts, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook, because guys, Facebook is not dead. And that's where the people that know you probably are. So like, do not completely discount Facebook, because I still am getting people consistently from there as well. But the posts that y'all are putting on your feed in Facebook and on Instagram, the goal of that is to really be showing multiple sides of your life and being able to connect with the people that follow you, whether that be people you already know or new people as you're inviting them essentially to come and watch you. So like when I'm doing that, I try to take real careful effort to mix in other things about my life that are going to relate to the people that follow me. So for me specifically, that's being a teacher, being married to a teacher, having 2 kids that are psycho. We have a blind dog, talking about her. She is very popular. Talking about like clothing, just like little things for people to relate to. And then in like your stories, that's where I feel like you can be a little bit more clear. And my whole purpose in my posts is to direct people to my stories. That's what I want them to do. I want them to get to know me through my posts, get to know me through that, but then watch my stories. So that's where I'm trying to direct them. Now, for when I started following the tracker, I realized that the thing that I was definitely skipping, or at least skipping consistently, was inviting. I was hitting Success Club, so I didn't realize that this was maybe an area of my business where I was lacking. So when I started like, okay, I'm going to connect 2 things together. So for me, I connect my Energize with my invites, and I do them first. So I wake up I'm one of those weirdos that wakes up really early on a school day. I haven't been doing it this early, but my alarm goes off at 3:45 and I am up, and like, it doesn't matter what time you wake up, like as long as you're getting your stuff done. But that's what I have to do to get out the door with 2 kids at the time that I need to. But while I'm drinking my Energize before my workout is when my invites happen. And our team even did a challenge where we connected that. How many invites did you get in during your Energize? So the very first thing that we're going to do is our invites, because that is how you get people to do this. Like, as much as we would like to think that putting posts up is going to have people messaging us, even though that's the call to action in the post, very rarely does that happen, especially if you're a new coach. Like if your odds of having somebody come in and just like instantly be messaging you for help, it is not very likely. So the stuff that's happening behind the scenes is where the magic really is. So when we are doing invites, be thinking about what you're inviting to right now. So that might be maybe if you started a free group last month, offering them to upgrade, having people that are on only BOD, maybe taking that next step and going to a challenge pack or a completion pack, 10 rounds, and the ability to sign up coaches on that now or customers on that on Monday, and getting your lists, and those trackers that they make for sales and launches are really, really beneficial. Your next boot camp and when that is starting, you always want to know when your next one is starting. Coaching, converting people from quarterly BOD to a challenge pack. Be thinking about what you're inviting to. Thing 2 is where the invites are coming from. So they might be coming from the free group, like we said. They might be coming from a sneak peek. If you or like your big team do a sneak peek for something like 10 rounds, which that's a huge thing right now, especially if you were inviting people to join for the coach launch, this is another round to follow up and invite them again to do it as a customer. Your last post that's regarding fitness or coaching, your story invites. And here's something that really, really is important. You really need to make an effort to not let your stories ever expire. and always have an invite in there every single day, because that is where you can go to the next day. So I like my invite will go in after my workout, and that is where my invites come from the next day as the watches continue to grow. So if you're not letting your stories expire, you always have somewhere to invite. Now let's say like you forget an invite one day, invite off of your workout, like whatever your workout clips are, go to that one. Okay, so now when you do those invites, I think it's really important to talk like yourself and talk like a human. What we don't want to do is have it, if it sounds like it was copied and pasted, it's going to read like it was copied and pasted. So you want to make sure that when you are doing this, that you are allowing it to sound just like a normal human having a conversation. And when you're inviting off of stories, like these people walked into your house, like, and that's why I make it an effort to like invite them in through my posts, because they are walking into your house and watching your family and watching you in whatever room you work out in and watching what you're eating. Like, that's not a cold invite to me. That is like, you are watching me, so you know what I'm up to. And if you didn't want to watch me, you clicked it. So like I don't know. So that's, I always try to invite off of my stories. Okay, so for the next 15 minutes, we are going to go through and we are going to do invites. You're going to do them from your previous post. You're going to do them from your stories. If you don't have an invite in your stories, you're going to do it from your workout clip in your stories, or you're going to go into a sneak peek that you have and invite them to do 10 rounds with you starting on Monday. Okay, so I'm going to start a timer to hold us honest here. Okay, you have 15 minutes and go. I also like to make tallies in that box on my tracker of how many invites I already have out. If you're just jumping on, we are in 15 minutes of doing invites off of a story that has your workout in it or has an invite in it, or off of your most recent post. And I would say that whatever invite you're doing from a post should come from one that is got a call to action on it or has fitness or coaching involved in it. Because if you post a picture of your kids and then you're like, hey, come work out with me, they might be like, huh? Got about 10 minutes left. For those just jumping on, we have 10 minutes left of invites. Sorry if y'all can hear that. Like I said, my husband and I are both band directors. We got a whole band concert happening out there. There's a question about how do you start a convo with somebody that you don't know? Go straight into the invite or small talk first. For me personally, I never do a straight invite off of a post, but I will do a straight invite off of a story because, again, they have come in and they are watching me. So if they are clicking on my stories and they are watching me working out in my home and they are watching me, post, if you're following what's on the tracker in regards to what you're putting in your story and you've got workouts, you've got meal plan, you've got, some form of food type thing, you've got products in there. Like what I'm doing in my story should be pretty clear. So I don't feel like that is cold per se. So I have no problem messaging somebody that's watching my story, and I'll write something super simple of like, oh my gosh, have you seen this boxing program I'm doing? It is possibly my favorite program. Have you thought about doing this too? Just something super, super basic. I do always check their profiles also to, one, make sure they're not a coach, two, make sure that if I've had previous conversation with them, I want to see where we left it off. And if we've responded back and forth, like just kind of checking in on conversation. And they may not answer, and that's fine, but if they keep coming back, they're going to keep seeing the same thing over and over again. If we're honest with the small talk thing, I don't have a ton of time to make a lot of small talk. So if it happens naturally, it does, but I don't want to talk for like 10 years about somebody's dog. I want to find people that I'm friends with, which we're going to talk about that here in a little bit with growing your network. Something else y'all can do is you can say, if you don't already do this, you can save it so that your Instagram stories save to your camera roll and then just upload your same stories to your Facebook so that they're still manually added. And when you do that, don't forget about the people that are watching your stories on Facebook too. About 5 minutes left. Somebody asked if you have more views for Facebook stories if you manually do it. I think so. Because my Instagram is set up as a business page, I have it linked to a business Facebook page. But like I I will see anywhere from 100 to 200 views on my Facebook stories, and I'm manually adding them in. Again, if you're just jumping on, we're almost done with invites, taking care of the thing you're avoiding first. Oh, now that we work from home, I've never sat in this chair so long in my whole life. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, time is up. Anyone else tortured by like not talking for long periods of time? Okay, so next section, we're actually gonna do this section short. So if you don't have time to finish in this section, I just want to make sure we get through more stuff. So I'm gonna only give us 5 minutes for this next thing, even though it's really, really important. So I don't want you to think that the amount of minutes we're spending right now make it not important, because it absolutely is. But we're gonna do 5 minutes in follow-ups. When we are doing follow-ups, I would follow up when you are inviting somebody that either has not reacted to something you have sent in the past, because like we all know that like you see something on your phone, you put it down, then all of a sudden the feed like refreshes itself and you have no idea that you missed that message because you just don't remember. That happens to people sometimes. Sometimes that's people's polite way, instead of having like an actual answer, they will, you know, not answer or whatever. But if they're still showing up on your stuff, it's a follow-up to be continuing to invite them, and you might change how you're doing it. You may try and like ask more direct questions. But you also have to want to have a way of kind of keeping track of those people. I'm like a boring paper and pen kind of person. I also use an email system. I use Constant Contact. So that kind of keeps people up to date with what's going on, especially my existing people, because I think it's important to make sure that we continue to take care of people, especially the longer that you're a coach, taking care of the people that are already in your network, and the people that already have said yes to you before, because every time a program launches, that you never know which program is going to speak to somebody and re-engage them. So having a way to stay in communication with all of your people, in addition to just what Beachbody is sending them. When you're doing your follow-ups, you know, first of all, this is a perfect time to be following up with people about a brand new program, because you now have the option to unlock 10 rounds with your challenge packs and completion packs, and start a new group on 10 rounds starting next week, starting on Monday. So this is a really great time to follow up with people. And if you're like in that boat of like, you know, knowing that things are different right now for people, like you have to keep in mind, I guarantee you people are not canceling Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus. Like they're not canceling things that stream into their house. They're not. They also are now moving into like week 3 of being stuck in their house with their family and like they're getting stir crazy and they're getting bored. We don't get to decide what is expensive to anybody. And like, if we're honest, like what we have is not expensive. In fact, I even had somebody message me the other day and they were like, wait, that's for the entire year and the shakes? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I pay that for like 2 months of Orange Theory. I was like, I know. And like, I think sometimes we get in our mind that things are expensive, and that's going to come across in how you are speaking to people. So do not think that people are necessarily canceling and not doing things. Like, we don't get to decide what people value. Like, we provide value and we show them what is important, but we don't get to decide that this is not something that they need right now, because we know they need it. Like, we know that everybody needs this. Everybody needs to be taking care of themselves. Everybody needs an additional protein option because they can't get chicken at the grocery store. Like, this is the absolute best time to be providing this to people. So I don't think that this is the time to like back away and feel uncomfortable with an invite or a follow-up, because you have exactly what they need. Okay, so we're going to take 5 minutes real quick, and you're going to go through your invite or through your follow-ups. And I'm just doing 5 minutes again so that we can move on to the next section. Okay, ready and go. Mm-mm. No. Go see Daddy. Go see Daddy. No. No. Chris. Chris. Hey, Ashton's in here. Sorry, y'all. 2 more minutes. We've got 1 more minute left of following up. Encourage you all to go back and find a way to follow up with your existing people too for 10 rounds. All right, and we're done with that. God, this is an unfortunate realization that I haven't sat in this this much silence in a very long time. Okay, so now when it comes to growing our network, this is really, really big. So like when you have, whether this is you or new coaches that join your team, and they're like, well, I don't have anybody to invite. I don't have people watching my stories. I don't, I don't have a lot of followers. Like this is where this comes in. And like my Instagram, I started a fresh one when I became a coach. And actually I can't even say when I became a coach because I didn't use Instagram initially. I only used Facebook at first. And when I switched to also using Instagram, I made a separate account in hopes that it would be a little bit harder for my students to find. But when it comes to growing your network and you are adding new people, what would you search on Instagram, and who you want to find people that are like you and not be looking on Instagram for people who look like coaches or would be awesome coaches. Because like if you go to some, like even if they don't have like a massive following, but like if you go to somebody that looks like a blogger and is taking all these pictures all over the place, like can you picture that person like in your challenge groups, or are you just like looking and thinking like that they would be a good Instagram poster child for a product? Because that's not what we do. What we do is community, and what we do is connection. So if you're just like looking for somebody that like looks like a picture of a coach, that may not ever become a connection between you and that person. So really make sure that you are looking for people that are like you and have similar interests to you, and you can picture them being in your group. So go to locations is something that I frequently use. The location hashtags might be a little weird right now because no one should really be anywhere. So I mean, you can look in like your local area and look like your town specifically. But I don't know if that will be necessarily as active right now. Or you can go to a hashtag that you follow, and one that doesn't have like a massive amount of people following it. And you do want to make sure that you go to, I wrote it down here, that you go to recent instead of top, because if you just go to that like a restaurant per se. Like for example, you go to that restaurant and the ones that come up are going to be top, which means that they have the like absolute highest likes on them, and that might be either somebody with a really big account. It might not be a recent picture. They're not always like the best choices. So go to the ones that are being tagged more recently. So those are two places that you can look. You can also go to the page of like a blogger or a bigger page that you do like, or a brand that you like. And you're not going to go to that person. And I actually wouldn't even suggest necessarily going to their followers. I would go to their most recent post and see who's commenting and engaging on that post. And you're actually going to kind of do this in two levels, because you're going to start digging around a little bit here. You're going to their most recent one to see who engaged on it. And then when you go to those people, ideally if they have a public profile, you want to see if they've been using theirs recently. Because if you're following people that don't actively use the platform, they're not going to come watch you back. So you want to find active users on Instagram. So make sure that you're looking for people that already are using it. And you can do that best by seeing recent activity. Obviously, if it's I don't not follow private accounts per se, but like they have to have a pretty compelling profile picture that like suggests that they are somebody similar to me for me to follow it. So again, you're looking for active accounts. It's always a plus if they already use stories, not because you're like, ooh, a coach, but because it just shows that they're active in using the platform. And like, let me think. Oh yeah, like if their last post was like in December, they may not be using it very often. But sometimes I'll have somebody that is watching my stories every single day and they haven't had a post since December. So you just kind of like go through and kind of see who is actively using it. Do not do this with a coach's page. You don't want to be going and looking at seeing who's interacting on another coach's page, because you're probably finding their customers and coaches, and it's a little weird. So you want to find your own people. But you're going to go to their page, you're going to follow and watch. If they have stories, watch them. You're going to comment on a couple of their things, but almost like think of it like a handshake. You don't want to be a creeper and like all of a sudden like 10 of their pictures, because they're going to be like, And I actually would also, encourage you to like pictures that are specific to them. Like I try to look for pictures of them, but like just kind of take a step back from this. Like if you have kids, if somebody you didn't know came to your profile and started liking all pictures of just your kids, wouldn't you think that was a little weird? Like our whole goal in this is to not be weird. And again, like we are not out to get people. Like you're not like fishing for people. Like you're literally looking for friends and people that you could truthfully connect with. So you want to be finding accounts that have pictures that you can relate with and they have similar interests to you. Okay, so we're going to take 10 minutes and you're going to start looking through some hashtags. You're going to start looking through some pages that you like and just looking for people that look like you would be friends with them in real life. Because again, the goal of this is to get them in your challenge group. So if they seem a little weird, or like you can't tell what's going on, or like if their feed just does not look like you could picture them in your challenge group, then that's not who you want to be friends with, right? Cool. So we're going to do that for 10 minutes. Also, do not forget that like there are people that you already know as well. And actually we're going to talk about that next. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Okay. So 10 minutes finding friends. Go ahead. If you're just jumping on, we are looking for people that look like they would be our friends, and then we are liking a couple of their pictures and following them. I wish y'all could hear the music that my husband has on right now. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but it's kind of hilarious. We have 5 more minutes. Also, I like to do this when I'm working in Power Pockets and not in a Power Hour. I actually like to leave this as my last thing in the day because I feel like this is something that's really, really easy to do, like while I'm just like vegetating after a day at work, versus leaving my invites to the end of the day, which take more effort. 2 minutes. All right. Cool. And guys, just something to keep in mind when it comes to invites and it comes to growing your network. When somebody new that you've engaged with, they see you come up in their notifications, what's the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to go to your page. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are proving yourself to be an active page. And something that I see happen quite a bit is maybe active stories, but the posts are not consistent, kind of like I mentioned earlier. So like, if you are promoting yourself as somebody that is very active, very present, and very consistent, they should see that you are consistently in both locations, on the feed and in your stories. And again, the stories should not expire. There should always be something. So, when they come to your page, is your page active? Like, are you someone that is as active as they are on Instagram? Does every post look the same? Like, are you taking the same exact pose, the same exact sweaty selfie in the same location every single day, and it's just a feed of that? Is your feed only fitness and food? Or are you mixing in like some of the lifestyle things that they're going to connect to? Like if you were on a page of blind dog, I'm just using an example, and I don't connect with very many people about this because it's not super common, but like if you connect with somebody over having a blind dog and then they come to your page and don't see a single picture of a dog, like they don't have that connection to you. Or if you're somebody that's really, really into leggings, also not the best example because you'd probably find a lot of coaches there. But if there's somebody that absolutely loves leggings, but then they come to your page and you're only wearing Nike shorts, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like if you're trying to connect with somebody over leggings and then you are not wearing leggings, like there isn't a connection there. So they're less likely to follow you back. Are the pictures all super, super dark? My pictures when I first started were terrible. Like I love to show them to my team. Like, hey, look at these. But I was still hitting Success Club with the terrible pictures because the pictures existed. So I was putting up content, I was providing value, I was showing up, I was making it obvious. And again, it was only Facebook initially when I started. I was consistently showing up. So those people were still following and likely to follow along. Important thing to discuss right now. So for those of you that have like SNS nails and have the tragedy of having to get this off yourself in the coming weeks, I had posted something, like I'm sure many of you have, about removing SNS, and a lot of people had mentioned Color Street, which I use SNS because of the durability of it. Not going to get into that right now, but with that company, like my first thought was, who do I know that has talked about this before? And I immediately went to somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook because I knew that they were a Color Street person. I went to them because I had seen it, even though I had not been interested in the past. But then I got a whole bunch of messages from other people that were Color Street that never like I had never seen it before and I didn't know, but my brain went to the person that was consistently showing up. So you want to be that to the people that are following you. Um, and you want to be making sure that you're showing that you're confident and that you're consistent. Like if you're showing up consistently on social media, you're likely to show up consistently if they decide to work with you. So you're kind of like proving yourself, not just to them, but you have to prove yourself to yourself too. Like use it as your accountability partner. Like use your social media to hold yourself accountable. And like if you're not doing that, I mean, like you would have an entire on the tracker, you would have an entire week with no box checked off if you're not posting on your feed, because that's like the fourth box down. Okay, so like really make sure that you're doing that so that it can help you. Now let's say about like some of those days that you get stuck or you feel like your engagement is really, really low. One of the reasons for that might be that you are not engaging with people back. You're looking and trying to get without giving back. You have to be engaging on other people's content, and you want it to be people that are going to be like your people. If you're just engaging with other coaches all the time, that's awesome and that's fun, but that's taking away from time of you meeting new people. And the cool thing is the more you engage with the people that you're finding, those are the people that are going to show up in your feed. So it really helps like with the positivity thing too, if you're finding people that are in common with you, because their stuff is going to be the stuff that's coming up in your feed. So if you ever have those days where you feel stuck, if you're a new coach, you can do this on Facebook for sure. Or if you are an existing coach for a while and you haven't done this, on a day where you're like, pick a letter of the alphabet and go to your followers or go to your following or go on Facebook and search that letter and start looking at the people that you are following with that letter and start re-engaging with those people. You like look for people that you followed a while ago and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl's really, really awesome, and start reconnecting into their stuff. Thing I've gathered in all of these power hours is using collections on Instagram. So that's something that I'm definitely going to start implementing so that I can kind of keep track of people I'm really excited to get to know better. And that's how you need to frame it. You're excited to know them better. It's not, can I sell you a challenge pack before the end of the month so I hit Success Club? It's like, no, I want to connect with you as a human and I want to be friends. Like that's your entire mission right here. So because we started a little bit late, what I do want you to do right now before we wrap up is I want you to just take 5 minutes and I want you to engage with people that you are following. So whether that is going to a letter of people that you are following, you can also use this as an opportunity to clear people out, whether you're like, ugh, their stuff is like super depressing. Or like you look and you're like, I don't know how I got connected to this person. Or if back in the day you used a growth service, which you should not do because it can totally like screw up your account. Like you should definitely do all of this organically. But if in the past you had, which I had, I went and found all kinds of whack stuff that I've been kind of gradually sifting through. But you can go through and like really help make your audience more dialed in. Okay, so we're going to take just 5 minutes and you're going to go through and you're going to engage with people that you're already following. It's also a great opportunity, if you have not done it, to invite people that you already know and already love you. Because guys, you have friends and family that if you just talk to them like a normal person, not trying to come up with some sales pitch, because that shouldn't be what this is. It's not a sales pitch. Go to your friends. You're like, look, I love having our Zoom happy hours. Can you please do this with me so that we can work out also too? Like I can even set up a Zoom. We can do it in the morning together. I just really think this would be a really, really fun thing for us to do together. Like just talk to them normal and invite them normal. Like you would invite them to go meet, well, don't do this now, but like meet you at a restaurant or something, like use it like you would talk to them as a person. All of a sudden we become a coach and we turn into this like, ugh, and we like stifle ourselves into from talking like a normal person. Okay, so you have 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up. So don't leave yet. Go ahead. And then that time you accidentally hit somebody's live video. Somebody asked if we should post every day. I don't think that we should post for the sake of quantity. I think it needs to be quality. So if you truly don't feel like you have something of value to offer, then I would say maybe not every day, but it needs to be nearly every day. And it doesn't mean that it has to be like a formal, like fancy Beachbody post. Like it can just be like you're trying to connect with an audience. Like I tell my team that like, having social media posts that connect you to people is working your business, as long as you're also mixing in Beachbody in other posts and it's in your stories. Like it just needs to be like a cohesive. One thing we like to do is take a screenshot of our of our Instagram feed and label like what each post is. So whether you're entertaining, whether you are talking about the business, whether you're talking about coaching, whether you're talking about fitness, nutrition, labeling the different things and seeing if you're hitting everything, or if it's very heavy entertainment or very heavy, on one specific thing. Two minutes. No, I'm not done yet. No, 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 I don't know. Okay. Awesome. So, guys, couple things. First of all, I want to thank you for being here today and doing this. Whether you're doing it with us live or you're watching this recording later, you are worthy of success. Every single one of you signed up for this because you saw value in what we have to offer, and it changed something for you, and you like owe it to other people to pay that forward. There are people that need me, but there are people that need you. There are people that need the top coaches. There are people that need your teammates. There are people that need my teammates, but there are people that need you. So I don't want you to ever like looking at other coaches and thinking about how like maybe you are less than in any way, because it is normal people that find success in this. But the way that they do that is by being consistent and showing up and being consistent in their behaviors. And when this tracker came out, like this is an absolute game changer. So if you are not using this, you really, really need to, because it was designed for your success. Like go ahead and take a moment and just kind of go through it and see like, okay, what can I do in what parts of my day? Like maybe not even with the minutes that are listed, but go through and chunk through like when I do my workout, what am I pairing with that? When am I going to do my post? When do I put up a post so that it's getting, into people's feeds when they're on their phones? How am I connecting with people? You want to make sure that you're using it as a tool to show you what you're doing and what you're not doing. So like if you go through an entire week and realize that you have never shared food for an entire week, okay, well then that is a good growth movement for the next week. You are watching yourself consistently not do the same behaviors over and over again. That's why you're not seeing, any kind of growth. So you want to use this as a tool to move you to that next step. And it was that for me. And like, as I said, I was consistently hitting Success Club 10. And when I did this, it changed everything. Like we advanced diamonds on our team, like everything changed all because of this tracker. The other thing that's super, super huge is the new, over here, the new one, the Shakeology one, which I have been doing a form of this, but not on a form. And now they have a form for us. And the third page of it even has like things that are really, really great for somebody that, why am I like backwards here? Really, really good talking points on checking in with your people, on making sure that they stay consistent with their Shakeology. Because a lot of times when people don't, it's because they didn't see the value in it, because we're not talking about it in our groups, or because they were making it wrong, or there's something that you can help them with as their coach. So this really helps you keep track of your people and helping them see like how you can make it better for them. So make sure that you're absolutely using this and keeping track of your people month to month. I even have a notebook where I keep track of who's signing up each month so that I have like a page for each month and I'm keeping track. But if you follow this tracker, you will see progress in your business. And I am sure of that because it happened for me. So show up for yourself because you need you, and the people out there that you're going to connect with need you. If you have any questions, definitely drop them here in the comments. I'm happy to. And best of luck to everybody, because like we are the ones that are going to be shining through this. This is our moment to help. So hope you guys have a good afternoon. Thanks for being on with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.